Oops. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Tech Talk with T&E. That's Terry and Elisabeth, obviously. And then today we have our super good friend and partner in crime, Clint Butler, joining us today. So
okay, no crime, no crime.
That's true. How are you, Mr. Clint?
I'm doing good, Terry. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me.
Good deal. And everything going good at home. I mean, as good as can be.
Yeah, we're surviving. That's the best course of action right now.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So, anyways, we kind of wanted to have you on today, talk a little bit about stuff, mainly about of course we're going to mention spring training, but I'm kind of curious what you're doing in AI. You and I haven't talked about that. I was actually going to talk to you about it in Vegas, but what are you doing in AI? Are you doing anything? I mean, besides content?
Really, it's content and images. I have messed a little bit with Bolt and with Cursor, but I'm a big dumb monkey when it comes to that stuff. So I give it stuff like ideas I want to change, and then it'll go and do it. But I don't know whether or not it's fixed or not. But so for the most part, it's images and content. Testing a lot of different content creation tools. Content Sprout, ZimWriter, Search Atlas. And it's really what I found is all about the prompt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you get the prompt right, you don't need any of those tools because you can just plug it right in directly and then you're good to go. So learning about new prompting techniques and stuff like that has been fun.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, it really gets to be, I don't know. I think the biggest thing I found with chat, especially with ChatGPT, I've messed with Claude and Claude frustrates me because it keeps asking me stupid questions. So I went back to ChatGPT. But I think the biggest thing I like with ChatGPT, especially, is like we talked about a little bit before, is the ideas that you don't think about. Whether it be around a topic or whether it be around building something. I'm doing a lot of stuff with, trying to figure out how I can do a lot more automation. So I'm asking it, how do I automate this to this using this type of questions? And it's pretty cool when it comes up and does that type of stuff, which I never played with before until about a month and a half, 2 months ago. But I think that's pretty cool. And then I had Gearens telling me, try it in Claude. So that's on my bucket list to do.
I've been using Claude more for writing. It's that they have that model pretty nailed down. As long as you give it a good content outline to follow, it sticks to it pretty good. So,
right on. Elisabeth, you used Claude too, haven't you?
I've used it a little bit, but I also have a friend who has been doing a deep dive into Claude because she has a very distinct personal writing style. And it's not super generic. So she really, I feel like she broke the veil because she kind of pushed it and she went, I know you guys probably won't go this direction, but she was like super praiseworthy towards Claude. Like, oh, this is so great. Like, I'm so glad you understand this, blah, 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 blah. Just kind of ass kissing. And it pivoted something within the algorithm to where it started giving her a lot better content, a lot more personalized towards her writing style, her tone of voice. It just dug it deeper in because she was like really positive and encouraging. So, when the robots take over, they'll remember who was nice.
Exactly. So, and I haven't touched images at all. I mean, just besides, telling ChatGPT to build one through Dolly, which
basic.
Basic stuff. So, but that's one of my goals this year is to get myself away from the agency stuff and just play with AI, play with tools, build tools, stuff like that, instead of doing my day-to-day SEO routine.
Well, yeah, I think it's smart because obviously every year since we've both been doing SEO's died every year. So
Yeah.
But we know it's not going anywhere. On the flip side of that, as much as things are changing, it's always smart to have alternative revenues of income. And as AI has always been popular among our community just because we're all digital people anyway, and we'd rather talk to AI than people. So, but as it gets more adapted to everyone and businesses start jumping on it, that automation and knowing how to do that automation stuff and how to set that up, it's going to be valuable, I think, and then a good new revenue stream.
Oh, 100%. Especially, some of the stuff that like Dan Kurtz is doing, the automations for, client onboarding for even our clients. I'm starting to ask him more questions. Well, what happens when somebody becomes a patient or comes in for Botox or whatever? What's that walk look like? The patient journey, and seeing if we can help automate that, of course, for an upsell and just become more entrenched in their day-to-day stuff. So you don't just become the SEO guy.
Yeah.
And a lot of what I found with at least our clients, a lot of our clients just either don't have a clue on how they could use it or they're scared of it. So it's a kind of a mixed bag.
I think it's a fair fear for small business owners. I mean, when everything first came out, they started with customer support via AI.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a horrible train wreck. If you've ever gone through that, you're just like, nope, I'm not doing that. Right?
Yeah.
It is getting better. Now they have phone systems. Brian Hong, he made that whole phone system that calls people for them and all that.
Yeah.
That's getting better, but people still know. So I think it's a fair fear for business owners. Like, what happens if the AI goes wild and does something bad and costs me a whole bunch of sales?
Yeah.
That could happen, right? So
100%.
Yeah. So I think that would be, if you're going to offer that kind of stuff, you have to be ready for that kind of, it's logical. Hey, what happens if it goes wrong? Or
Yeah, 100%. Especially, I've just talked to a guy. I'm getting ready to do an audit on one of his client sites, and this thing, just in the first glance of it, it's like, doesn't even read good, And I was just like, and he told me ahead of time that a lot of it was built before he got it with AI and everything, and I'm just like, there's nothing wrong with building it with AI, but it's still got to be good.
Got to be reviews, got to be edited. So, yeah.
So, and it's, I don't know. It's just, I think people really need to start, like you said, paying attention, because this site's in the your money, your life area. And that's the big thing. That's a real thing. Your money, your life area, finance, medical, stuff like that. And
yeah, that should have definitely been reviewed. Yeah. That's like going to a lawyer's site and putting AI content, not reading it, and then you're, how bad that could go for you.
Yeah. Hey, build me a case study. Yeah, that's for sure. So, well, awesome. Are you doing anything as far as automation? Have you done anything automated wise in Digitaleer?
Not beyond some stuff with Make that we both picked up from Dan, but for the most part. I mean, everything is really just on-page items. On-page, do some content and link build. I mean, so what more is there to automate? I don't offer 50 flavors of what I'm going to do for digital marketing. I just offer SEO. So it makes it simpler for me.
For sure, 100%. So, how's Digitaleer doing? Good as an agency?
Well, right now, because of stuff going on with him, I haven't focused on new client generation in fucking months.
Yeah.
So, but just getting back on that. I'm also promoting Rank Gear, or working with, finally promoting Rank Gear, living up to my end of that deal.
Cool.
A lot. So,
good deal. Yeah, that's that's a good thing you got going on there for sure. So, my Amber just loves this stuff. It's like her favorite freaking thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a good job with that tool.
Yeah. And that one, I mean, it's, and I was even honest with him, the writing portion of it is kind of, basic.
Yeah.
The content portion of it, but everything else is just freaking awesome. I love the topical map system. And of course the Schema stuff that we've been using for years. So, that's awesome.
I think the basic writing is just because he's using a credit-based system. And if he plugs in a better prompt and a better model, it's going to cost more, and then you're going to get less for your credit. So,
yeah, it makes total sense.
So, I've been using it just for the content stuff, just for PBNs, that kind of thing, where I don't really care.
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing? Are you using AI at all for link building? That's one thing I've been looking at as far as how can I make my link building more efficient?
Not really. I mean, you can ask it for ideas for link building, but it's easier. I get better results when I ask it. I want to promote my post on the internet using a combination of video, social media, and etc. And then try asking it for where should you do it. I use it to write pitch emails for Link Assistant, send out cold emails. And, if you do that with a little bit of personality, you actually get free website links. So,
yeah, for sure.
So I do that. And then it's, you're not going to get a whole bunch unless you're tossing out a whole bunch of money, but it costs maybe 30 minutes of time to do a Link Assistant push and shoot that out. So,
right on. That's awesome. Morning, Skylar.
And you can share ChatGPT conversations, and you can share artifacts from Claude. But I've not seen either of those index. So I don't know if Google is reviewing them. But if they are reviewing them, there's some potential there for some link building beyond that.
Yeah, I have. I was just doing a reporting call the other day with my big roofing company, and we're starting to see ChatGPT show up in analytics. So that's pretty interesting. We're like, okay, what are they doing? Are they actually scraping the content? Are they, what is ChatGPT.com doing at my roofing company site? And it wasn't once. It was like 8 days out of the month. They hit it. So I don't know. It was just interesting. I haven't investigated into it yet, but I was just like, oh, that's I mean, first of all, it's interesting that it picked it up. But yeah, I'm just kind of like, okay, what were you doing, you little thief?
Well, I look at it like 4.0 and ChatGPT does research the web, and if the prompt asks for it, you will get citations. The problem, everyone is like, oh, we're gonna get into AI and gonna, have you used as the model. Well, all of those models that are using the internet, you have the potential to be in there, but there's no way to control it. I had a client ask me about it the other day. What about AI SEO? That's the new wave. And I was like, all right, go put a prompt in there that you think should result in your website showing up. And unless you are the one doing that, or unless you're asking it to search the internet, and unless you're ranking high, you're not going to be in that result. You're not going to be in that resources result. So,
well, and then one of the things, because I've been seeing how if I can manipulate that result, especially with Chrome or Google, through Schema. I mean, because we've been going after the people also ask area for a long time, and it seems to me that if you can get into that people also ask, that the AI should be pulling from there some of those results, the 3 little pay-per-click things. So, but yeah, I've been trying to figure out where they're getting the information from, and it's not really it's not like one of the paper clips is number 4. It's not like that, so it's kind of odd.
Yeah. The other thing that you have to consider is they made it really easy at one point to rank for those. And all those trunk monkeys went out and scraped all the PAAs and made these websites nothing but PAAs. And so Google bitch slapped that whole thing. So now you're fighting, like, what filters that they put in place as well to make sure that you actually deserve to be in those.
Exactly. You know, and then I was talking to the roofing company, and they're like, if somebody, you know, searches, you know, emergency roof repair Dallas or something, is that going to show up in an AI result? And I'm like, well, that's the big question mark, is how is Google going to show that as an AI result compared to saying, hey, here's the local map pack, here's the, you know, top 10 or whatever, you know, from TripAdvisor or whatever. So that's the kind of thing. I think local's still kind of safe for a while. But yeah, I don't know how they would do that because it's still scraped content. So unless they're going to go out and scrape like map pack results or whatever, saying, here's your top 3, you know, because back when ChatGPT 3.5, you put in top 10 plumbers in Dallas, and maybe the first 2 or 3 are in Dallas, but the rest aren't even in Dallas.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting.
I think it'll be cool. I mean, there's some inherent tests in there, right? So let's say your roofer's not in that emergency roofing keyword. He's not there. Just every day go in and do that search and see, you know, where is he ranking? Is he in the search results? Where is he ranking? Is he in generative AI? And then just keep boosting his ranking up until he's in the top 3 and see if and when he ever pops into the generative AI result. And
yeah,
it's kind of I mean, that would be a long road to get into to see where that kicks in, but roofing is that's pretty easy.
Yeah, for sure.
To bounce someone up. So
yeah, I've been playing with it to try to see what causes the AI generator to show up. You know, what question, what query, and obviously, you know, how long will an asphalt roof last in East Texas? You know, yeah, that would probably generate some AI results. But you know, like even I work on my brand and the Solterra brand all the time, and just seeing if I can get Solterra to show up in the AI generative results is, you know, something that's also fun to play with. So
I've seen it a couple times. So it's been cited a couple times.
Yeah. So, but well, that's cool. So, what is going? Are you still in the gambling in those really hard niches space, or did you ever get more into the, I don't know, less stressful stuff?
Yeah, I'm out of that now. I still do testing in there, but that's a rich man's game. And
yeah, for sure.
You know, one of those clients takes up 90% of your time because you're always right. And so yeah, I'm doing competing with GoDaddy right now and Cloudflare with one client. Still doing that shipping container website.
Okay.
That I don't know what the hell's up with that niche. I mean, him and he's into the SEO too. He just doesn't have a lot of time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But him and I have tossed probably about $40,000 of work into that website, and it's still not doing where we want it to be. It's weird. It's like this niche supposed to be easy, right? And it's absolutely not.
Exactly.
So fighting with that. And then Rankier, obviously, and Digitaleer, and we got a couple other clients too. So
right on.
All over the map. I never did niche down like you do specific niches, right? So
yeah,
I never did that. I probably should just to get a little bit of focus in, but I have more fun doing different stuff. Yeah,
and I'm the same way too. I mean, it's I'm niche down, but I'm niche down as far as front side marketing. You know, I don't want to go out and front side market a whole bunch of stuff. So we niche down the front side marketing, and then, you know, but I still will look at almost everything, especially through the audits that we do, you know, because it's, you know, and I'm doing a lot. I'm trying to do more of the equity play stuff, you know, at least, you know, get into, you know, some of the stuff Brian's doing, and, you know, that stuff that's so intriguing to me, you know, because it's, I don't know, I'm tired of the $1,500 to $2,000 a month people. I'd rather have 35-40%.
I mean, you two have run businesses before, so kind of that's where I would lean if Kim and I work together as well as you two do. Her and I are like oil and water when we're working together, but it just seems you guys had the real estate business for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, you know everything about roofing there is to know about marketing roofing, and like, why not start a roofing company? Or
yeah, and that's also big, the big thing too. I've even had my roofing companies tell me, why don't you start a roofing company? And so and I didn't think that's intriguing too. I was talking to a guy that just bought a local SEO guy. He just bought a painting company, kind of like Chaz did a few years back, but he bought it just because he kept the same crew, kept the same owner, just bought out and did some creative financing stuff, and now he has a painting company. And I was like, wow. So I think I'm those things
down here in Yuma. I mean, we have such an older demographic. None of them want to mow their lawns, much less clean up after themselves. And it's Arizona. You don't really have to mow a lot.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of clientele. So, I mean, I thought about doing that down here.
That'd be cool. So that's awesome. Elisabeth, you got any questions for Clint?
I know that you've kind of not been pursuing like major agency growth here recently because of everything else, but like, do you just rely on SEO for sales? Are you looking at expanding that this coming year? What are some of your goals for your business this year?
The biggest lead generator of good clients has always been YouTube. So just kind of made I won't say a resolution, but my goal is to do a video a day on something, whether that be for rank year or for digital year, and just get back into that. And then SEO this week, bringing that back.
That was my favorite. I loved your SEO this week.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going back to its roots, though. I mean, how before it turned into a Q&A thing. Mm-hmm. I'm going back to the roots where I'm going to go back and actually start doing the news again.
Yeah.
And then I'll get to talk about AI stuff too. So that's a benefit. And I think that's where I got the most value out of it. Doing the Q&A was fun. But at the end of the day, I was just giving all this free information. I wasn't getting a whole lot of signups. When I was doing the news stuff, I was getting clients out of that. So I'm gonna go back to doing that. Now that everyone that was copying me stopped doing it and moved on to copying the Q&A sessions, I'm gonna go back to doing the news and see how it goes.
Yeah, no, I loved it because I don't have time to do all that stuff, and why do it when Clint does it? So, so because I've been trying to get myself more involved with, especially on the YouTube side. I got a call this week with a company that specializes in taking our podcast and stuff to the next level or whatever. Because I'm starting to get leads from YouTube, and there's, like you said, they're solid. They're the best leads I've ever gotten. They're and they're typically come to me for a couple different reasons, and I like that a lot. So I do agree that YouTube's, it's a game changer as far as lead generation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I think the value in it is people can see you, they can hear you, they can get your knowledge, and they get a really good sense of who you are. So whereas if you get a lead or a sales lead, they don't necessarily know you, your experience, your expertise. And so you have that level of trust built in already if they've watched your videos. And sometimes they kind of fangirl you and they'll like do a deep dive and watch multiple videos. So they really get a good sense. So, I mean, I think that's just as solid as like a really good quality personal referral.
Yeah, know, like, and trust, right? So our copywriting and our landing pages, we try to gather that, but at the end of the day, it's still a cold lead versus an email. They've already figured out they know, like, and trust. And I have a particular way of dealing with clients. If you watch my videos, you already know that. You're not going to call me up and surprise when I tell you I'm not sending you reports. If you want reports, go to Google Analytics and read your shit. So.
Yeah. which is the biggest thing I've always freaking loved about you. I'm like, gosh, I need to get to the Clint level, saying, just leave me alone and let me do my shit.
Yeah. Well, the downside is you don't get very many people signing up because they all have this thought that they should, I need to know what you're doing. You got to tell me everything. You're like, why? You don't know what 90% of that is anyway.
Yeah.
So I can just make it up, which is generally what I saw a lot of those 11K a month agencies doing. Was they'd run a SEMrush audit, put it all in Monday, and every time they had a call, their weekly client update call, they're like, we fixed this, we fixed this. And all they were doing was going down the SEMrush audit. I'm like, come on. I'm undercharging and I'm overworking. So
like, I know business owners that I just had somebody present a PDF that was paraphrased, not even actual data. And I'm like, that's apples to oranges. I'm not going to compare or compete to that because it's irrelevant. They could have made shit up. Like, makes me crazy.
I mean, it's easy to do. I can use Sitebulb and get a whole year's worth of work. Just put it all into a ClickUp and go, here's your ClickUp. We're just going to be working down the thing. You want to know what we're doing? Go check out your ClickUp.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, 99% of that stuff isn't going to help you rank any higher. But we'll do it for you if you want deliverables.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny.
If you want a CYA file.
Yeah.
For sure.
But you're going to pay. You're going to pay for it. I can tell you that right now. I want reports. All right. Well, your bill is $5,000 a month because my time.
I got your report.
Right? Because you got to go hunt and peck in InDesign and.
Takes a lot to upload that crap to ClickUp.
No, that's awesome. I mean, it's and I know your schedule is really kind of up in the air right now, but are you looking at any events this year? I mean, besides spring training, obviously.
Lisa's is coming. That's online.
Yep. I think it's the end of the month, right? January 27th or something?
Yeah.
It's a good event, by the way, guys. If I don't have any information to bring up, but.
Yeah. Her last one was really good, so I expect this one to be decent. So,
yeah, our last one was fun. I was speaking at it, and she did the same thing we did for Spring Training Digital. Is that going from room to room and really cool software stuff.
She's doing that again.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's really cool. We're actually looking at we're looking at going to Patrick's event in February, end of February.
Patrick
Samuels? Yeah. He's it's all about agency growth. So that's kind of the biggest things that we're looking at this year is going to those type of events. I wanted to go to, what was it? Because traffic and conversions got canceled. That was kind of a bummer.
I think it was only a matter of time.
Yeah, and they merged it with Affiliate World, which is fine. I know that it wasn't a big moneymaker for them anymore. So, I'm not sure. But
I think a lot of those super big conferences like that, like I always wanted to go. But at the end of it, they just lost what they were really about. And there's so many speakers and so much hoopla. So traffic and conversion, that was long. That's 13 years straight. Funnel Hackers Live, I think Russell said he's not doing that again after this year.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. This is the last one for Funnel Hackers.
Yeah, because the ones like you guys put on that stay on course, stay on topic, and when you're going there, you're going to talk about this stuff versus 50 different things and like, how's that going to help me? To me, it seemed to be doing better.
And I think, obviously, I think the expense is a big thing. Those bigger conferences, they're especially if you're in Vegas, and it's not cheap. Everybody thinks it's cheap to do an event in Vegas, and it's not anymore.
Rockstars was $33,000.
Yep.
And they just did that. You saw it. Wasn't like we went all out with it. It was $33,000 just for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep, and it's crazy. I think traffic and conversions last year this thing it had to cost them $500,000 plus to put this thing on. So, And that's a big outlay. A lot of people don't realize that, you don't pay as you get tickets. You typically pay at the beginning and hope you get tickets.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. As an example, I mean, I'm not affiliated with Dorian Rockstars and Nitro anymore, so I don't have any problem saying this. I think the conference room alone was $6,000 deposit before we even sold any tickets. And then a lot of the rest of it was really the bulk is you're going to pay for food.
Yeah.
Like, you guys go all out with food. We don't go all out, and we still pay an ass ton of money for food. I was like, holy Jesus.
Yeah, for sure.
But it didn't, honestly, it didn't deter me from the idea of doing a sister conference with you guys for spring training, like fall madness or something like that.
Yeah.
Because the numbers looking out is the expenses were 33,000 and the income was 86, making around a $50,000 profit.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So, and that's on top of the recordings. She sold the recordings too.
Yeah. She does every year for sure.
Huh?
She does every year. I think she told me one time she makes as much on the recordings as she does on the.
She made more. She made more on the recordings. Last year, their numbers were at 100 and something. One of the reason though, honestly, is there's just not a lot of marketing. If she ever marketed it, she would be good, better, I think. But that was a good moneymaker for her.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. So we hope to have the same or better results. So.
Yeah. Well, you guys are already kicking the Rockstar's ass. I mean,
yeah, I think because we're changing things up obviously this year too. We're not going to do food only because where the hotel's at in downtown Chandler, there's literally 30 freaking restaurants
right there. Yeah.
And so, and we're doing a 2-hour lunch this year, partly because, we want people to go out and spend some time and network and do all that stuff. But we're also the main sponsors are going to do lunch and learn type of thing. So if people wanted to get food and bring it back in, totally fine. So we're kind of mixing it up a little bit about the food because the food is awesome. But the challenge that we have with the food is you got to kind of please everybody. You got people with special diets, you got people, and as far as an event goes, that's great to say, hey, we're going to have steak one day and chicken the next. But, it's Elisabeth's, she spends more time on food than the rest of the conference. And that's, that's hard, so I agree. I think you do have to do food if people have to go out and walk half an hour, 45 minutes to get food, especially if you're only giving them an hour, because just as a host, the thing that really gets screwed up is when you're not starting an hour late because 3/4 of your audience is trying to get food. Vegas was good because everything was right there. It was right across the street was all that good stuff that we all ate. And, so that worked out fine. But yeah, I have been to, I think she did when Dory did it in Dallas, we had to leave to go because the restaurant at the hotel couldn't handle everybody. So everybody had to leave to go get food and come back, and you either miss a speaker or whatever. And that's, again, you're just trying to please everybody. But, but one of the reasons why we looked at moving into this hotel in Chandler is because of the options that people have. Whatever you want, it's right there. So, and it just obviously makes it easier on just making sure the conference stays on schedule.
I think it's smart. It's really convenient. It's inconvenient. Like even Scottsdale, when you did it there, it wasn't like there was food far away, but you still had to get in your car to go somewhere to get something.
Exactly.
So if it's close, that makes total sense. And then you guys are relieving yourselves of something. Honestly, it's a small thing. People appreciate it because you save them $15-$20. But at the end of the day, if you're spending half or 3/4 of your time arranging for just the meal portion, what about the rest of the conference?
Mm-hmm.
That's should be the exciting part. So
exactly, yeah.
And I think you guys should be making money. I mean, it's cool and fine and awesome to go, oh, we don't make money from this. But I'm more pragmatic where I say, bullshit. I spent all this time putting this in there. I should be making money from this. So.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, especially the bigger conferences. The little 20, 30 people masterminds, those aren't big money makers anyways. But the bigger conferences, the outlay, 100%. So, I don't doubt that at all. But I think it's going to be, I don't know. I think it's going to be awesome. I love this hotel and that whole little downtown Chandler area. So it should be pretty freaking cool. Good time for everybody. The hotel's great for networking, which is one of the biggest things we look at to make sure people hang out together.
It's a really nice hotel. It's a Crowne Plaza. It's been renovated. It is an older hotel, but it has been renovated. It's got a lot of really great places like outside patios. Inside, they do live music Friday and Saturday. And then they have like the bar. And I let them know our people, the majority of the time, will kind of stay on property because a lot of people do like to just hang out. But literally 35 bars and restaurants and places to eat within less than 2 blocks walking distance. So all right there. There's coffee places, there's breweries, Santan Brewery's right there. So a lot of really fun, cool things. And I know a lot of people like to go out and, get their own little micro groups, which is fun. So it's nice. Pool, you can rent a cabana. Hang out there at the pool.
Got the cabana. So, but no, and it's we were really like last year. Last year was the most expensive one we've done, and because we have to look at room costs and all that stuff too. We don't just take that for granted. But this time, I think our room costs are half the price they were last year. So
that's nice.
Maybe not half, but it definitely drops it down. I've got a room block. I'm getting ready to put that out on the site because I know a couple people have reached out and they're already starting to look at their plane tickets and start planning, even though it's a little far in advance. But when you're running a business, you gotta think of all the details.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, that's one of the things I got from Dory, just as a lesson learned, is when we were looking at hotels, I wanted to do the Green Valley Ranch.
Yeah,
but the rooms there were expensive, and the hotel she picked, the rooms were cheaper, and the conference room was cheaper. Mm-hmm. But I thought that you would have a better conference experience at the Green Valley because you were there. Everything was at the Green Valley, and you weren't tempted by the noise and sounds of the Strip.
Yeah, sure.
You guys did downtown, so that was a lot of distraction. But
yeah, exactly. So
I get it.
Yeah, so the room consideration is what drove her to pick the Palms. So, and when we actually scheduled it, those rooms were less than $50 a night. And as we got closer, it went up, and people were like, "Oh, the rooms are expensive." I'm like, "You bought your ticket like 3 months ago. You should have bought your rooms there when they were $50 when we scheduled them."
Yeah, for sure, that's a fact. And Vegas is tough, anyways, because of especially the networking aspect of it. You get hey, we're going to dinner, and all of a sudden you get 10, 12, 15, 20 people want to go to dinner. Now you got to find a place that can take that. I mean, it's just. It's not a convenient place to spend a lot of networking time in Vegas. And so it's still one of my favorite places to go, obviously. But
I always have fun there. But I think I honestly have way more fun at your at spring training. One, it's not in my stomping ground, but it's away, but it's close enough. I mean, it takes me just as long to drive to Vegas as it does to drive to Phoenix. So either way, that's not really a consideration. But at the end of the day, it's not, being deployed so much. The last thing you want to be around is 100,000 people.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And so your conferences, I like that you do it there. I mean, I would hold one here if I had any hotels that would actually accommodate that. But I can't imagine a whole lot of people would be like, "Oh, let's go to Yuma for an SEO conference."
Well, it depends. You could do a day trip to San Diego, and
yeah, if it hasn't burned down by then.
Exactly. Yeah, freaking. But they're, like I said, it's just, it's one of our favorite things. And, she's holding me back from just blowing this thing out there, because I know last year we announced it way too early. And this year we're kind of holding back and just kind of answering, questions as they come in. But I think she's got the picture almost done, the main picture. So
I think it's a balancing act. Is another. I mean, this is obviously it's conference related, but if you have anything to promote, there's a balancing act of when is it going to be, and then how much are you going to talk about it, how much are you going to brag about it, and at the end of it, it just becomes so. Right. So one of the things that I learned doing this promoting it with Dory is people that heard about it a lot, they just stopped answering emails. People that hear about your crap every day, they don't answer your emails at all. I mean, Dory gave me 7,000 contacts, and I just deleted 6,900 of them because they never answered any. They never opened the emails that I sent. It was ruining my send rates. When I was cold emailing and going to new people, that was better. So my send rates from my cold email lists, the open rates alone were awesome. I was getting really good. So I think like last year, I mean, you and I are friends on Facebook, and I was tired of listening about SEO Spring Training.
I know I was all over it, and then and I'm still so heavily filtered. Nobody sees my stuff. I'm hoping that Zuck removes my filters now that he's changed his mind and tactics. But it's just, and because we're all trying to get that other crowd. So I mean, even here in Phoenix, we should be able to sell out this this conference right here. I mean, there's 100 plus SEOs here in the Phoenix area. So
postcards, try postcards.
Yeah,
postcards, you can get a couple hundred of them for $80, $100
mm-hmm.
and mail those out. That's one of the things that I want to try to do.
That's a good idea.
Part of my niching down is one of the niches is there's plenty of them, so I can make plenty of money if I sign them up, but there's not so many that I got to spend $1 gajillion to reach out to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do postcards. And so it's going to be an audit, James Slattery style, SEO the beach, that stuff he taught. I'm going to do that. And then send a cold email. And then I'm going to send postcards. And then just kind of hit that in, hit that up.
Are you going to blanket one city? Or are you going to do different?
We're staying in Arizona.
Okay.
Yep. I figured if I just target, if I can do it in Arizona and get a good base, then I can take that as a model and expand if and when I really want to.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Yep. No, that's a good idea. I mean, that's I've been, everybody really probably knows I'm in the medical spa space, and I drive around Phoenix all the freaking time going, gee whiz, look at all these they're just everywhere. And we don't market to them. And I think the postcard idea is incredible, especially if you're offering something that, will give them a snapshot or a better picture. But I think that's freaking awesome, especially for the conference. We're definitely going to do it for the conference. So
that's what I would try. I did the email thing, the cold email thing, just expanded off of what you guys did, and I did it as well, trying to sell rock stars, and it didn't do as good. My open rates were awesome. Everyone was reading my emails, but they weren't buying as much. So I think you guys had kind of the same experience too, right? With the cold emails, they were reading them, but not necessarily getting tickets. So I think the postcard thing is really the way to go.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good idea because, we don't even know if the emails that we have are going to the right person. So, but I do like that a lot. I think it's a good way to get a different type of variable out there. And then when we were looking at speakers this year, that was also a big consideration, is how big's your network that you can market this conference to. And,
well, if you get them to promote, you have to explain how you did that, because everyone that we've ever done never have. I mean, we got a couple that said stuff. Jerry West, he didn't even go, and he promoted a little bit, and Brian did it. Both Brians actually mentioned it, but nobody ever really promoted it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that, I mean, I get, because, I got so many freaking requests to speak again this year, and it's a consideration. One, do I know you? Two, do you do what you say you're going to do? And three, how many tickets can you sell? I mean, it's, because it's, especially for us, because we pay the expenses for we pay the expenses for the speakers.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of like, I don't want to say you owe it to do that, but it's, you should want to do that, so, but.
Well, I can see from their perspective, like, why would I promote to sell tickets to a conference to an audience that already knows me and I've already squeezed as much money out of?
That's true.
So you have that. You've mentioned that before, where you always get speaker requests.
Mm-hmm.
Money idea. You sell recordings to spring training. The people that you couldn't have them record presentations and send them to you, and now you have extra videos outside of just what they got at spring training. That's another selling point. So
that's a good one. Yep.
And then you can use the views to select for next year's, like, let's say, just as throwing it out there, let's say Kyle Roof sends you a video, and he's the most viewed, most watched of all your recordings. Now, next year, let's have Kyle come.
Yeah, for sure. That's
an idea. Free market research.
Definitely 100%. All right, cool. All right. So, anything else, Miss Elisabeth?
I don't think so. Like, I don't know. Does Clint have anything else to share? Anything fun, exciting? What are you most looking forward to this year?
Oh, I could talk all day. So
I know. Such an extrovert.
Yeah. For me this year, it's just all about knuckling down and picking a new search engine. I say new search engine. Doing Google SEO is fine. It's awesome. But YouTube SEO is fun. Pinterest SEO is fun. Reddit SEO is fun. I'm waiting to see if they cancel TikTok. I want to get into TikTok SEO. It's funny because TikTok, I don't know how much you guys watch other YouTube videos, but there's a guy who owns a car dealership in New Jersey, and that dude just talks about selling cars, and he's almost at 1 million subscribers.
Jeez.
Just talking about selling cars. I can do that and leverage that, and I think it'd be valuable. But TikTok is a really good platform, as I understand it, for getting sales and traffic. That guy's selling supercars off of TikTok videos. So if he can sell supercars, surely I can sell SEO, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll look more into that. But again, we got to see if they cancel TikTok, if they close it out. I think they're going to shut it down, but we'll see.
I think so too. And I thought we were going to hear Friday. I'm surprised we didn't. I didn't know it was that big a deal they got to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's,
it's kind of unprecedented, right? It was like Chinese companies sell shit to everyone and everything. And now we're just going to pick on this one company because it's popular.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side of that, there is a lot of social engineering that can take place if people are just giving this thing away, which doesn't make sense to me in regards to whether China has it directly or they scrape Facebook and YouTube and all that other stuff. I mean, if they can, they're still going to get it because people are dumb and they share all their crap on the internet and then they cry about privacy. So
yeah, for 100%. And that's the part that I don't understand. And they've even, I don't know. I just think that, it's already all out there. Why are you starting to peck and, you either need to do a blanket thing with all of them or,
yeah.
I mean, it's the whole AI thing too. I mean, I think AI is going to get smacked down pretty hard too when it all comes boiling out. I mean, keep an eye on the UK. UK is always typically the first one that puts down the hammer on things like that. But I mean, these publishers and stuff are just freaking out that they don't have any, copyrights anymore. And
well, the UK is putting people in jail for making tweets. So
yeah, that's true too. So I just read about that over the weekend. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought it was a bunch of bullshit. But it's like, really? That doesn't make any sense at all. So, yeah. But and then there was something I was going to ask you about. I should have wrote it down. Let me see here. Maybe I can remind myself here. Look back on my spring training thing.
Courses. How's SEO University doing?
It's doing okay. I really haven't pushed the Schema course because I've got a couple more modules I need to do, and then I'm updating all my template files. It's awesome though. I mean, it's especially I think now. I think for me, anyways, a lot more people now are realizing the power of Schema. I mean, you and I have been teaching it and talking about it for 6 years, I think. But I think now people are starting to realize what they can do with it. They're still doing it wrong. But, now I think the opportunities out there that we can do more with the training, do more with white labeling it and doing it for people and everything else. But I think, again, it's, people need to test it and make sure it works. And, don't just buy it from me just because I say it works, so.
Yeah.
But I do think I love it, especially as we find more stuff we can add into it, which is pretty cool. It's still, a guy sent me a Schema package or a Schema site the other day, or a site that you put Schema on, and it was I'm just like, dude, it's way too spammy. You still have to treat it like a regular website, so when you have all your keywords in there for your web page schema, make sure it's just the main keywords. You don't need to have PayPal and Stripe and payment processing. You don't need all those. You're not trying to rank for that shit anyway. So clean all that stuff up. But
Google's not going to rank you for that anyway. That
exactly.
thing came off of Zista and what's his name, Jesper. When Jesper, they put keywords in Schema, and I'm like, that's stupid. What are you doing? That's like having a keyword in your meta tag. you don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. And we still have them in there, but the main ones, like 3 to 5, maybe.
Yeah. I don't put any in there. I just deleted it.
And because we were doing that before with topical relevance because that was part of the entity play. But now, again, the entity for web design business isn't PayPal, but WordPress is, stuff like that. But yeah, so it's just, again, I just think that people half-ass shit in this business, and it's something that's driven me crazy forever. They go 50% and they say, okay, we're good. Why don't you just finish it and then you'll be good forever? Quit screwing around. So, but yeah, no, I think it's pretty. I don't know. I like it. I'm doing my next live class. It starts next Tuesday. The live classes are really fun. And then this year, especially this time, I've got a whole bunch of new stuff that we're going to talk about when we get to the Schema weeks. But I think it's good just to have a place that people can go. And, I still get people telling me, why am I charging $1,500 for a Schema course? And I'm like, well, because you'll take it seriously. If I charge $300, it'll just sit there in your freaking account and you'll never fucking use it.
You gave both of us, like you said, we were talking for 6 years. We gave all of it for free and no one fucking implemented it. So
exactly.
If I'm going to talk, I might as well charge $1,500 for it. I mean, what ranks is cheaper, but mine's not as updated as yours.
Yeah. I think mine is more the philosophy of why you put stuff in there. It's not just, you have to think about it. One of my big struggles with teaching somebody to come on staff with us, because we are hiring for Schema people, is it's not a task thing. You can't just check a box. You have to have some thought process. You have to, does this make sense? Even as simple as, I looked at a Schema the other day and they had YouTube on the site wide, their YouTube video. And I'm like, this is only for pages that have a video on it. You don't have this video on every single page, and stuff like that. And we got to pay attention. And you can really f up your site too if you put the wrong schema on the wrong page. Trust me. But I am doing a lot more with the SEO Press's Google API or whatever Google's API thing with that. And that's pretty interesting as far as, how fast I can get stuff indexed and how fast we can get the schema seen.
Yeah. They're going to go after that, I think, sooner rather than later. I think a lot of those tools Google's okay with, and they're just going to they've always silently turned it on and off.
Mm-hmm.
But with the way people are making trash websites with AI and then connecting it and feeding it to that indexing API, I wouldn't be surprised if they do start using that as a penalty filter.
Yep.
Like if you have that turned on and you're creating 50 pages a day, we're gonna not show your website as much.
Yeah, I mean it totally makes sense, and I've only got it on a couple sites, and the two sites that I'm having to do it on is one's a consolidation of 3 sites into one. So I'm doing a lot of stuff there because I want to see if Google's okay with this stuff so far. And then the second one is a big product site that just has 2,404 errors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've told people forever is we got 3 main problems right now. One, of course, is still crawl. We have no freaking, I my big roofing site, I think I looked the other day, they get about every 16 days or so. And we still don't know, really good where, obviously I could play in the logs, but I don't have time to play in the logs. But crawl for sure, and then getting our good content noticed with all the crap content out there.
Yeah.
That's also a big problem. And then internal linking. Internal linking is the biggest thing that I've seen that people need to get right now, especially now more than ever. So, especially way Google's freaking crawling shit. If you're lucky to, in my opinion, if you're a local business, I think you're lucky to get a couple pages crawled. Maybe half a dozen every month.
Yeah, especially if you don't have an active blog system, then they're not going to come a lot. You can speed it up. Internal linking, you're 100% right. It's really the anchor text in there, but at the end of the day, if you don't link to yourself and no one links to you, then why should we index you? It seems to me like the easiest way to even get to handle indexing. And every site that I build in the beginning, they say, new websites have a hard time. Rank Gear's been up. That's what domain has been live since 2021. And I still, and I haven't done any blog posting to it. And because I haven't done any blog posting, guess what I don't have? A whole lot of internal links. Now because I don't have a whole lot of internal links, guess what? It's a pain in the ass to get pages indexed.
Oh, yeah.
So, so if you don't have your internal linking in place, you shouldn't even be thinking about backlinks until you have a system for internal link.
Yeah.
And I have a Python script. Mark, I don't know, you remember Mark from HOA.
Yeah.
He made a Python script, and we feed it the URLs of our pages, and it sends it to AI, and then AI goes and analyzes it, and then tells us what anchors to use for that particular page to link in our internal linking. And when we upload that into Link Whisperer, and it fires right off. And I've been doing that to lawyer sites, like personal injury attorneys, and we're slaying it. We slowed down on link building significantly because they have a robust content system now with a robust internal linking system, and it's just money. So
yeah, for sure, and that's the key to it too. By the way, I'd love to be back in the HOH group. Just put me a little bit of plug in there. But yeah, and we started using Garrett's Turbo subdomains, which is pretty freaking awesome. And I love that it's built on WordPress because I can put schema in it. So especially the site wide, which is typically the only thing we do. But
What is the monthly on that he's charging?
$197.
What is it, Elizabeth?
$197.
Yeah. We got
197
197, and we got 500 subdomains
for 197.
For 197.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
and so the monthly price doesn't change. It's just you buy a chunk of subdomains, and then it's just $197 a month maintenance to run it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. When if you want to see the back end of it, I'm happy to show you. And it's
Privately off camera.
privately.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, him and Brian Cato have a webinar coming up tomorrow, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And I was going to sign up, but yeah, when he first mentioned that SEO at the beach, it was like in the $1,000 a month range. I was like, well, that's too expensive for me.
Not a month. You buy in.
I canceled Nitro, so I definitely spend $197.
Yeah, exactly. I just finally canceled Nitro too. Elizabeth figured out how to do that. So, but yeah, I did. It's a pretty freaking cool. It's it's kind of like Money Robot system, but you have a lot more control.
Yeah,
and and so far it's our main linking source. We still have our own little PBNs, but
how is it doing in boosting the rankings? Did you test
it's
it out?
It's doing pretty good. We've only got, because you have to season them for over a month, so we've only got 7 sites that the original 7 subdomains we did are now seasoned that we're placing links on. So we've been placing links on it for about a week and a half. So now we're just starting to watch and see. I was very specific in the keywords and the pages. I really want to see kind of more single variable that I can.
Yeah.
But I don't know. My link team likes it, so that's cool. So
I mean, it makes sense. You can just he charges per subdomain?
You buy them in chunks. You can buy like 100 to start with, 500. You can, 250, or you can. I think they have their platinum. That one would be up to 1,000 subdomains. So it's a one-time price to buy the chunk, buy the number of subdomains, and then no matter how many you have, it's $197 a month, like maintenance.
Okay.
So the 197 never increases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a one-time fee to jump in, and then you're on the hook for the rest of your life.
But definitely look at it. Obviously, we're using it with our press release systems and all kinds of different things. But I'm looking forward to it mainly because, again, I think I love systems like that. And Money Robot, I just felt like I didn't have any freaking control at all. So,
you control freak?
Weeks. So, what, Elizabeth?
I said, you being a control freak, wanting the back end? What?
Yeah. So that was the first thing I told when he gave me the little, showed me the whole system. I was like, okay, cool. I can put Schema on here. And he's like, oh, yeah, I never thought of that. So, but it's
cool. You can access the pages after is it like Nitro was, where you gave it an article and it'll go post the things, or did you go in individually?
It's all automated. It does all the articles for you, and then
articles and images.
Articles and images, and then you go to your little dashboard and you put in what keyword anchor text you want to use, what link it goes to, and then you select all the different blogs you want that to go into. And so if you want it on 4 blogs, or 2 blogs or whatever, then it'll do all that stuff for you. Right now, I'm testing the exact match, just because if I'm going to test it, the exact match is the one that's going to be the big test.
Yeah.
But we'll find out. So far, like I said, the 2 that I'm keeping an eye on, the first 2, I mean, it's definitely going up. It's not rocket ship up, but I'm not doing anything else to these pages. So I'm hoping it's going to be a good variable. But again, I would love to see if you got into it. I know Brian, not Brian.
What?
Garrett?
Simon White is a huge user. Simon White's doing it like crazy.
Oh, Lee and Honey.
Yeah, Lee and Honey are using it a lot. So I don't know. We'll see. But so far it's my favorite freaking thing so far this year.
Now, what is different between that system and just, well, obviously is writing you said it's writing content for you, right? But
content and images.
So
it's all automated.
You say, hey, here's my subdomain, here's the topic I want this subdomain to do, and then it goes out and makes this website and then keeps publishing new content to it.
Yeah. Yep. Now your subdomains are exact match. So I've got a subdomain for affordable web design. So, and so I can use, it's all the content is around that topic. And then I just go in and say, I want these anchors, this page, these anchors, this page, so on and so forth.
So it's essentially making niche edits for you.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the category I would throw it into, is niche edits for sure, because it's content that's already written. It's not writing new content for that term. So,
and it's not changing the content in there. It's finding that keyword that you put in there and then adding it to
exactly. Now, if we did have, because I've got a couple I'm doing.
And you set it up and upload a spreadsheet so it's at scale. So it's not like you're going in there and manually doing it. And that's the value.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So
I mean, theoretically, you could buy enough subdomains and sell backlinks once your site's
exactly right. And Garrett, he has stories that this is a lot of these big linking companies have gotten rid of all their other linking opportunities and just do this. So that's pretty promising too. So I would never put all my eggs in one basket, but still, and they're using it for tier 1, which is another thing that's intriguing.
Yeah. Well, I figured you were too, because you're kind of like me. Let's see what happens.
I've got plenty of sites that I call "see what happens" sites. Because it's again, I've got one of my med spas I'm using as a test too, just because I do want to have one live one, but I picked a freaking page that's never had anything done to it, and not their money page, so to speak. But we'll find out. But like I said, so far so good. But again, we just got through an algorithm updates, and I'm seeing green all over the place. So I'm waiting until I can definitely say that this was a cause because of this, and I'm not there yet. So
I think you would need a single variable test to say definitively, because you'll always be able to second guess yourself unless you do a single variable to see if it's moving it.
For sure.
For me, just the way you described it, niche edits, and the most important thing about niche edits is don't go in there and change the content. You have to use the word that's already in there, or else Google hits you for it. And it sounds like it's not changing the content, which is...
It's not. And if it doesn't find the exact string that you're going for, then you can have it write some articles around that and then come back to that string later.
Oh, nice.
So... you can. There's all. I mean, so far I think it's a pretty freaking slick system, and Chad's doing a similar type of system, but with Amazon buckets and Google Sheets. So he's also testing a kind of a subdomain thing, but he's doing it on Amazon. So,
well, I know Mentorprise were the first ones that they have that thing called Mentorprise Publisher, and my number one complaint about the system wasn't the system itself. It was 0 + 0 = 0. I have brand new subdomains with no links to them. They're not going to provide me any linking power. So I can build 1,000 of them, and I just have 1,000 brand new damn domains that don't do anything. So that was always my bitch.
Yeah.
And then you have, if I have 1,000 of them, then I can interlink them. But now you have the risk. Google doesn't care about you that much. It's your competitors will find it, that'll backtrack your PBN and then report you. So you have that risk. So how do you address that?
Well, so far they're not showing up in Ahrefs. That's the one thing I'm keeping an eye on. So none of them showed up there yet. So
I wonder, is that because they're not? I mean, you could easily tell. You just look at a robot, see if Ahrefs blocked. But also, are they not getting crawled?
And that was always the big question too. So I'm going to take. There's one subdomain that we've gotten, I think, 7 anchors on so far. I'm going to export probably the last, because I think it's doing like 2 or 3 articles a freaking day. Just the one thing I teach against, obviously. But I think the biggest thing is, I'm going to throw them up in the bulk checker and Ahrefs and see, if they're indexed or not. But
it would be a good test. How many subdomains? You said you have 7 that are seasoned. How many do you have?
Yeah, we have 7 that are seasoned. We have about 450 total. We have
you guys still have Neo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So run a DAS. Neo has a wizard, and there's a domain authority stacking in there. And what it does is it runs that diagram 4 times to your same URL. Get one of your subdomains you haven't done anything with, just sitting there publishing, and run DAS at it.
Okay.
And then check it after that.
So run some autopilot links to it, or Neo links to it. Okay.
Run the Neo links to the homepage, brand name only.
Okay. That's a good test.
And if you can do that, you have to season them anyway. So seasoning, from what you described, is you're going to end up leaving them alone for a month and just let them do their thing.
Yeah.
So the DAS is going to, for each one, it's going to take probably a month to run through it. Even my computer, it took almost a week to run through one of those campaigns, and it's got three more to go.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I have it turned up. It's on my Mac Studio, so it's flying.
Yeah.
And it's still a minute. So if you have to if you're waiting a month anyway, and you're not, it sounds like you did 7 and you have another 450 to go, it's not going to kill you to run one of those, run the DAS and see. And then send links to a single variable page and see if it kicks in. That's what I would do. Because that's 4, you only got to run that one time.
Did you freeze, Clint?
I'm here.
I think everybody froze. Hello?
I hear you.